you guys? Today is going to be a little bit different of a video. We are going to be recapping on our 2019. I feel like I've never ever done this before, but well actually I never have, not that I feel like it, I never have done this before. But 2019 was the best, greatest, craziest, most changing year of, I feel like I can speak for both of us by saying our lives.
There's a lot.
Yeah. And so we're going to recap on it. I am going to be on my phone so I don't forget anything because I'm not going to lie, I filmed this once and I already forgot like a couple things. So we're going to go through it. You ready? So we ended off 2018 by finding out that we were pregnant. So we found out on like December like 20th or something like that, like very end of 2018 we found out we were pregnant. And so we ended up telling our families either like, I can't remember if it was like very end of 2018 or very beginning of 2019, but either way it was like right around New Year's that they all found out. So we had our very first ultrasound on December 24th last year. So again, still 2018, but I just wanted to recap on it really quick. We ended up having our very first ultrasound then, and it was because it wasn't like a good ultrasound. It wasn't like a happy-go-lucky one. It was because I was bleeding, and so we went to go make sure that I wasn't miscarrying and that Sutton was still there. Well, the baby. We didn't know it was Sutton yet. That the baby was still there, that we were okay, everything like that. So everything was good. We were fine. We were great. We ended up learning that that was just going to be how my pregnancy was, where bleeding was going to be like a normal thing.
Forever.
Yeah. Yeah, you think you're going to have your period be taken away from you. Never was. So we got that ultrasound, just make sure everything was okay, and we got our due date that day. We got our first due date that day. It was going to be August 8th, which is my birthday. We ended up finding out it was going to get pushed back later on, but we ended up getting our due date then. And then we announced our pregnancy to like Instagram and everyone that's not family. We ended up announcing our pregnancy on Instagram. We did like a little New Year's Eve theme, like a poppin' bottles theme. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was a cute picture. I love looking at the picture. And we announced that on January 8th. So we started out the year telling everyone that we were pregnant. And so we thought that we were waiting until our second trimester to announce that. But then on January 16th, we found out that that was not the case. We ended up finding out that our real due date was going to be August 16th. So when we had announced, we were not quite out of our first trimester. But anyways, on January 16th, sorry, we got our very first ultrasound. Look at him. He was so little.
He has a brain.
Yeah, you can see his little brain and his like heart flickering, and he's just so small. He's got his little hands up by his face. And me and Dylan just went to that appointment alone. That was like the only appointment that we went to alone. And it was just super special. We got to see him for the very first time, because that first one, all he was literally just a dot, and it wasn't like an ultrasound on your belly. It was like one that goes up and sees into you. And so it was fun. It was like my very first real ultrasound on January 16th. Well then, on January 22nd, I was bleeding again. So they told me every single time I did that, I had to call them and they would dictate if I needed to actually come in or not. Well, they were like, okay, well, you've only done it once before, so we need you to still come in again, and we need to make sure that he's okay. So I'm freaking out because I've already seen him. I know what he like. I mean, I don't know what he really looks like, but I've seen him. Like, I know that there's a baby in there. He looks like a little baby. He's got a little brain. So I was freaking out. So they set the appointment for the next day, which was January 23rd, and I got another ultrasound, but Dylan wasn't able to make it because he had taken off half the day for the first ultrasound. So he was like, just go by yourself. We think the doctor even said, she's like, I think you're okay. I thought I was okay, but it was just a precautionary one. Well, I got another ultrasound and he was moving like crazy. You can like see him. He was like, he had hiccups. He was bouncing, everything. It was so cool to see. And that was the first time that I got to hear his heartbeat. So on January 23rd, I got to hear his heartbeat. It was so sad that Dylan wasn't there for that one because it was the first time we got to hear it, but we hear it every appointment after that, so he didn't miss it. But it's so weird, like I miss hearing that little heartbeat. Oh. So the first like genuine knew my due date was actually correct, things like that, was my 13-week picture. And there's like definitely a little bit there. It's just like that swelling that doctors are probably like, that is not what that is at all. But so we go to like 13 weeks, and then at 14 weeks we ended up going to a 3D ultrasound to find out the gender. I genuinely just could not wait until 20 weeks.
We thought it was a girl at first.
Yeah, 100% convinced. Like the wives' tales told me that he was going to be a girl up until I had him. Like they still all lined up as girl. Like there was like 2 things that said he was a boy. Otherwise they were still always girl. And so I was convinced it was a girl. And so we paid a little bit extra money to see him in 3D, which was weird. He looked like a little alien. He didn't even really look like a baby. He looked funny. But we went to go see him in 3D and find out his gender. So my mom got to see the ultrasound of where, like, what he was. And then we had a friend, she took the envelope that said it was a boy, and she opened it in her car and then went and got the rest of the stuff for the gender reveal, and we had our gender reveal that night. So like same day, found out and like went to the ultrasound and then found out that night. We like popped some balloons to find out his gender, and that was really cool because you can even see it in the video. We are like, oh my gosh, it's actually a boy, which I secretly was really wanting a boy first.
I was excited.
We would have been so excited either way, but I secretly wanted a boy first. And so it was super fun. And then we announced the name to our family that day. We just said it's Sutton. I don't even think we didn't have his middle name picked out, right?
I can't remember.
I don't think we did, because that took us forever. We had Sutton picked out since day one, but his middle name, Riot, was a little bit longer of a process. Not very long, but a little bit longer. So I don't know if we announced that part either, but could you imagine waiting until 20 weeks to find out his gender?
Yeah, because it came around anyway.
I know, but it was so long in between. Like, I wouldn't have been able to wait. I think we'll have to do that every single pregnancy. I won't be able to wait. Maybe if we have like both genders, if we have a boy and a girl, then I'll just be like, whatever, so I won't care anymore. But not care, but you know what I mean. Okay, so then on February 19th, we had the absolute biggest scare of 2019, like worst day of our lives. I mean, it ended up being okay, but holy cow. So I woke up that morning. I don't even know if we've ever honestly told this story. I woke up that morning, just went to the bathroom like normal, like you do in the morning, and I lost something. I had lost something about the size of an apple. And that was like the size that Sutton was supposed to be. And so I, TMI, dug it out after I peed, and I like kept it, and Dylan is gone, by the way. He's gone at gunnery, so he's out in the desert, and I can't really even contact him. It's pretty hard. I mean, I can. He has his phone, but it's definitely harder to contact him. So I called my mom, and after I finally got a hold of him, I was like, hey, I lost the baby. I need you to be home now. Because I didn't know if I needed to go to the hospital. I mean, in my head, had lost the baby. So what was the point of going to the hospital? Mm-hmm. And again, this story is just going to be TMI, just letting you know. So I'm still bleeding profusely. And I'm driving around, and I called my mom, and she said, you need to come to my work right now. I'm taking you to the hospital. You cannot be bleeding like that. You have to go to the hospital if you're miscarrying. You've had, like, especially because he's farther along. Like, he's 15 weeks at this point. We need to take you to the hospital. So she races me to the hospital. She had folded a comforter 6 times. So like there's 6 layers underneath me, and I still soaked into her seat with blood. Like I'm bleeding a lot. And so my dad met us at the hospital. Dylan was able to get out of gunnery and meet me at the hospital. And so I'm in having an ultrasound. The doctor had even said, he was like, hun, we haven't done anything yet, but I've lost something the size of an apple, and I'm bleeding profusely. I have blood all over my legs. I'm drenched in it. he was like, "Hun, you have lost your baby, but we do need to make sure and see what part of him is still in you, if you lost all of him, if you lost the sac, if you lost what you lost." And so that's why we ended up having an ultrasound. So we go into the ultrasound. Dylan's still not there. He's far away, like, and it took me forever to get a hold of him and stuff. It's not his fault. That was just where the circumstances of him being in the military and where he was at. So I'm having an ultrasound, and he comes running into the
Yeah, I sprinted.
into the emergency
The rotating
room.
doors don't rotate very fast. And I got to like the waiting room, and I was trying to get into the hospital, and the doors wouldn't open, and I turned back, and I was like, "Open the door!" Like, "Who are you here to see?" I was like, "Abby Wilson." They're like, "Okay," and then the door's like, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I sprinted in, and then there was 2 more ladies in front of me. I was like, "Where is she?" They're like, "Go that way." I just sprinted around, and then went around the corner, and I found her dad, because he had been waiting, because she was still in ultrasound when I like came around the corner, and he like stopped. He's like, "Whoa." He's like, "They found a heartbeat." And I was like, ugh. So me and him just talked for a while until Hattie came around.
I'm gonna cry. That day was so bad. So I guess, wow, I'm gonna cry. That was like such a bad day.
Well, he's outside.
I know. I don't know why I'm crying because he's fine.
He's not gone.
I know. So I guess all it was that my placenta was never attached correctly, which did cause complications in my pregnancy later on.
It was a big blood clot.
Yeah, what I had lost was a blood clot. Goodness gracious. So all I had lost was a blood clot. I know, big freaking climax of a story to end it with that, but thank goodness that's how it ended. But it did cause some issues in my pregnancy later on. But not big deal because he's here, so it doesn't matter at all. But that is a big part of 2019. So back on March 1st, we moved into our first apartment together. It was so great. It was super small, but we loved it. We thought it was amazing. It was just a 1 bed, 1 bath little place, but we loved it. It definitely did us well. From March 1st to June 14th, we lived there. And I still lived there when Dylan went to NTC, and then I moved to this apartment, and this is where we are still clearly at. So then on March, and to a happier note, on March 16th, we revealed his name to Instagram, so to all of our friends and everything like that. We had just a little board with his sign and his due date on it. Funny story, we honestly wanted smoke bombs, and that was when we announced his gender. No one had known his gender unless they were at the reveal. And so, we wanted these big smoke bombs, and we let them off, and they were like this little teeny tiny, like a match. Like, they were big, they looked big, but
They
then
were
like
very
the smoke,
exciting.
yeah, the smoke that came off of them was literally like a match fire.
Yeah.
But that was exciting. We got to finally announce that his name was Sutton Riot, and he was a boy, and we were so excited. On March 28th, though, so not even very long, 12 days after that, we went to our 20-week appointment, which is where we would have like actually found out his gender, and I just can't even imagine waiting that long. But we found out his gender, not his gender, sorry. We had like the big, huge ultrasound that shows like every little inch of him. They measure his feet, and sorry, by the way, he went to go get Sutton, that's where he's at. They measure how like big his feet are and how big his head is and if his brain's growing correctly, and like I'm pretty sure, and somebody might correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure they can see if his brain is functioning correctly too. That's where if something is going to be wrong with your baby, and they can see that. All of that stuff, it was amazing. We get to see like every little feature of him. And I loved it. We have so many pictures from that ultrasound, and it's so weird to say it, but you honestly can like look at it and be like, that is Sutton's nose, and that is Sutton's forehead, and that is Sutton's little like puffy lips, and that is Sutton. Hi, Bubba's. Sorry, we're having a lazy day, which means no pants. We have pants on, but not Sutton. Not Sutton. Bubba's, hi. The year of Sutton. That is what 2019 was. The year of Sutton.
Yeah, buddy.
He's grumpy. He just woke up. So yeah, I loved that appointment. Didn't you love that 20-week appointment?
That one was cool.
It was fun. And it's like a half an hour long. Like, it's a long ultrasound, you get to see everything. They really talk to you, because sometimes all the other ones are kind of just like wham bam, like getting it out. And that one was really special. And then I just started growing. Like, I'm feeling his kicks. I'm seeing him kick. I'm seeing him move. This boy was the most like moving baby in the womb ever. Dylan left for a month to California for some training, and in the process of that, we moved into our second apartment. We moved on June 14th, and Dylan was still gone. So I moved into this, my parents helped me like crazy, but I moved in by myself, got everything set up and ready, and Dylan came back on like June 25th, I'm pretty sure. So I'd been in this apartment by myself for like a week. Which was crazy. I love this apartment. It was fine. It was great. I was so excited to have him home finally, because I was like 7.5 months pregnant at this point. I'm getting huge. I'm getting really, really big. And so we moved into our second place. And Dylan got back on like I said, June 25th. And we had his birthday on June 28th and our baby shower on June 29th. I loved my baby shower. My mom did absolutely amazing on it. It was everything I could have ever imagined. We had a, I had my baby shower in the morning, and Dylan had a guy one at the same time, and then we had a co-ed like barbecue that night, like a baby-cue. Get it? That's all on Pinterest. I'm not that clever. That night, and so it was just a day full of celebrating Sutton, and I loved it. It was an amazing day. We had so much fun with everyone, and so we got to do that. 2019, we also both got new jobs. So I have been a CNA since I graduated high school, but I used to live at Aspen Rehab, and then
you still work at Aspen Rehab? You said live at Aspen Rehab.
I used to work at Aspen Rehab. I worked there so often that sometimes I felt like I was living there. I used to work at Aspen Rehab, and now I work at a hospital here in the NICU, and I absolutely love it. I've been there since June 17th. And Dylan used to work as a mechanic in the military, and now he still has his military job, but he also works as a mechanic for an electric company, right?
Yeah, utility.
Utility.
Power lines, power poles, underground utilities.
And you started there like, what?
July 9th.
July 9th. So right before we had a baby. Definitely a very big, scary thing, because Dylan is...
Much better job.
Yes, 100%.
A lot more money.
But at the time, I was freaking out. I am about to have a baby in a month, and we're switching. Like, my job, let's be real, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not the money maker. I'm not the breadwinner, none of that. So my job doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It was great because I was getting a pay raise and everything, and I was going to be enjoying my job. But it just doesn't matter. But with him changing his job a month before we had a baby, I was freaking out. Especially because he's the one with like the insurance and everything like that. But it ended up being the best decision of our lives. Like, it's Wednesday, right? It's a Tuesday right now, and Dylan is literally home. He's been at home since 2, and it's literally 3:51. So he's been home for 2 hours just being with us, like, as a family. And at his old job, he used to work from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and I wouldn't see him. So I could not imagine that at all. And so this has been the biggest blessing and the most amazing thing. But at that point, it was terrifying. But I'm glad that we both took the leap and did different jobs, because it's been amazing for us and for our family. We both also, Dylan gets a new car, I feel like every day. But we got 3 new cars in 2019. You got your pickup probably in like January though, right?
Yeah. Pretty much as soon as I found out she was pregnant, I sold my old pickup and I just got the one I have now. Yeah,
so it might have been tail end of 2018, but I'm 99% sure this was in 2019 as well. He got a red F350. Yeah. And so it's nice because there is like his old pickup was an extended cab, and so the son's car seat would have fit, but just not as well as it does now because it's a crew cab. I got my Cadillac Escalade in October. And it's really nice. It's like the ESV, so we got a big old black bus as a car now. And then Dylan also got a Jeep. What year is your Jeep?
It's a 93.
He loves driving it just day to day now, but what we bought it for was just for like the fun this summer. So 3 new cars for us. We sold 3 cars this year, bought 3 cars. It was great. And then on August 15th, we welcomed our little boy into the world. That was the most amazing day. That was the most amazing day of our lives. I went into labor on the 14th at 9 p.m. and I had him on the 15th at 9 p.m. So I was in labor for 24 hours. Not a single one of my epidurals worked. So it was a very long, sleepless, not eating day because you can't eat on an epidural, can't move on an epidural, can't sleep when your epidural doesn't work. So it was a very long process, but I would do it 10,000 times over. Like, I just asked Dylan for another baby just because I loved how amazing that day was. And I love him. I'm obsessed with him. Huh. I'm obsessed with you. So now I get to be a stay-at-home mom with him. Work 1 day a week, and it's a night shift, so I don't even, like, leave him. So that was the most amazing day of our entire lives. We had him at 9:49 on August 15th. He weighed 8 pounds, 0.01 ounce, or 0.09 ounces, and 21 inches long. He was perfect. Absolutely couldn't have asked for more at all. He's the most amazing baby. He's so easy. He used to sleep through the night, but I think he's going through that 4-month sleep regression because he's been adding a feeding in the middle of the night. But I would take that 10,000 times over because of how amazing and fun he is. He is making so many strides, doing so many new things. It's crazy. I cry. Everything when you become a mom is nostalgic. Everything. Like, he literally he was on like a little playmat with an arch over him, and he reached for it. Didn't grab it, nothing. Reached for something. And I just started crying because it was so amazing that he's able to do those now. He's rolling from his belly to his back, or his back to his belly. Like, it's so cool to see it, and you can hear him talking in the back. He's got a little personality for sure. And then we had the postpartum roller coaster. I was able to lose my weight. I was pre-baby weight, like after a week after I had him, and I was 3 pounds less 3 weeks after I had him. He just giggled.
I'm biting his arm.
Oh my gosh.
Is it dad or is it your arm? What's so funny?
He's growing so much. He's making so many big changes. Postpartum was insane. It was probably worse than having him. Like, oh my gosh, I hated postpartum, but we're over it. We're out of it. We're done. It is amazing. He's here. I love it. We have had so many firsts. Which was hard because he was born in August. So you have so many firsts so quickly. We had Halloween. We've had Thanksgiving. We've had Christmas. And we've had he's laughing now. He had his first laugh the other day. He had his first rollover. He had his first, like, lifting his head up. It has just been amazing. Like, 2019 made us parents. They brought us living together. It has brought us the most amazing jobs, the most amazing, I mean, not even like I'm not materialistic, but like, we have amazing cars, we have a roof over our head, we never have to worry about like going to the grocery store. It's just, I mean, 2019 has been the most amazing year ever. Sutton, what are your goals for 2020? I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna say mama first. My goals for 2020 are just to grow together as a couple, as parents. We're very financially stable, but to even like have financial like freedom. I hope that do you think you're funny? I hope that YouTube takes off. I have enjoyed doing this so much. I enjoy that you guys are in our lives. That's my goal, is I hope that I can do enough that YouTube takes off. Mm-hmm. I pray that I can start my own boutique. That has always been a dream of mine, and that'd be great if that was what brought 2020 to us. It was brought to us in 2020. Maybe another pregnancy?
No.
Darn it. Just kidding. I want to soak up the time with little man. What are your goals, babe?
Probably move into a house.
Yeah.
That's like the only goal I have. Is just to actually get into a house.
Yeah.
Either rent or buy it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Our lease is over in June, so we'll see.
Maybe for his birthday we'll have a house.
Yeah.
Stay
Alrighty.
tuned.
Yep. I hope you guys continue this journey with us into 2020. Thank you for being with us at the end of our 2019. Thank you 2019 for being absolutely the most amazing thing ever to us.
Yes.
Bye guys!